In the dawn rays of the desert, a thief named Lucas runs out of a saloon with a bag of money. His dark hair is disheveled. Elijah, a former ranger, spots Lucas and instantly leaps onto his horse. Lucas races down a dusty road, glancing over his shoulder. Elijah gives chase. Elijah rides into the desolate steppe, pursuing Lucas, who confidently maintains his speed. Lucas jumps over a rocky ditch. The strap on the bag of money creaks. Elijah quickly maneuvers his horse, not letting him get away. Suddenly, Lucas fires his revolver backward, trying to drive off his pursuer. Elijah dodges. The horses race through sparse brush and cacti, kicking up clouds of dust. Elijah closes the distance. Lucas suddenly turns off the road onto a narrow, rocky path between the cliffs, trying to throw his pursuer off the trail. At the top of a hill, Elijah stops and quickly pulls out a lasso, preparing to capture Lucas. Lucas dismounts and runs through the brush, hoping to hide. Elijah swings the lasso from his horse. Lucas tries to jump over a low fence but gets tangled in it. Elijah approaches at a gallop. Elijah dismounts and runs toward Lucas, holding the lasso in his hands. Lucas tries to break free, but the lasso tightens and wraps around his waist. Elijah pulls the lasso, holding Lucas still. Lucas gives up, lowering his hands as Elijah holds him in the lasso's trap. Elijah helps the thief up, tying his hands behind his back, showing determination but not cruelty. In the distance, dogs are heard barking, and the sheriff and his deputies rush toward them on horseback. The sheriff greets Elijah and thanks him for capturing Lucas, promising a fair trial. A crowd of townspeople begins to gather in the square, discussing the incident and the events in town. The old ranger leads Lucas to a horse-drawn wagon to take him to jail. After the long chase, he sits down by an old well to catch his breath. The dry grass rustles quietly around him in the light breeze. The sheriff tells the assembled townspeople that law and order must prevail in their town. The people listen attentively and exchange opinions. In a saloon filled with the smell of tobacco and wood, the cowboy sits at a table and quietly watches the door, knowing that something is coming. The saloon door slowly swings open, and a stranger steps into the cool evening light, his appearance causing everyone to fall silent and turn around. Elijah watches the stranger intently, sensing the approach of a new threat as silence hangs in the room. A tense silence reigns in the saloon when the door swings open, and a man in black enters the dim light. It's Jack, the brother of the captured Lucas. Jack stops at the bar and addresses the bartender, asking about Lucas's fate, his voice restrained but full of threat. With tension in his voice, Jack threatens to respond to his brother's arrest. Fury flashes in Jack's eyes, and everyone feels a storm is coming. Suddenly, the saloon door swings open. A group of his supporters, rough and grim men with weapons at the ready, enters behind Jack. Elijah quickly stands up from his chair, his hands slowly moving toward his revolver. His intense gaze meets Jack's fiery eyes. A shootout erupts in the saloon. Bullets whistle, tables fall, people hide behind the bar, and Elijah skillfully maneuvers between cover. In the heat of the battle, Jack suddenly breaks for the exit, leaping onto his horse to leave town and gather reinforcements. Jack sharply changes direction and disappears behind the rocks, hoping to use his knowledge of the terrain, but Elijah keeps up and relentlessly pursues him. Jack appears on top of a cliff and opens fire, the bullets glinting in the rays of the setting sun, echoing across the desert. Elijah fires back from behind cover but misses. The tension mounts and the duel turns into a grueling shootout. Suddenly, Jack rushes down the slope, skillfully weaving through the cacti, his face twisted with a thirst for victory. Elijah runs after him, his heart pounding as clouds of dust and grass fly up around them. Unexpectedly, Jack stops by a group of bandits who have surrounded the road. He gives a signal, and a new wave of attack begins. Realizing that being surrounded by bandits without a horse is a fatal mistake, Elijah rushes through the cacti and rocks, trying to find a hidden way back. The bandits pursue Elijah, firing after him, but he deftly dodges between the thorny plants and dives into a narrow crevice. The ranger crouches behind a rock, gathering his strength, breathing heavily and listening intently. The bandits' footsteps are getting closer. Jack and the bandits approach, exchanging glances and quickening their pace, confident they will soon catch the fugitive. His heart pounding in a frantic rhythm, Elijah bolts again, moving deeper into the desert, where darkness and solitude become his main hope. Jack shouts viciously, telling the bandits to be on their guard. The hunt grows more desperate. Night envelops the desert. Elijah hides behind a rock, but hears the approach of heavy footsteps. The bandits are close. He prepares for a fight, gripping a revolver in his hands. Jack and his gang surround Elijah's hiding place, quietly approaching from different sides, preparing for a surprise attack. Elijah unexpectedly shoots one of the enemies, shattering the night's silence. A fierce shootout begins among the rocks and cacti. Unexpectedly, the sheriff appears from the right flank with a fast rifle, opening fire on the bandits and forcing them to retreat. Jack glances at the new enemy. Enraged, he orders the bandits to concentrate their fire and advance. A close-quarters brawl begins. Cowboys and bandits furiously stomp the dry earth. Shouts and the clang of weapons are heard. Elijah draws his revolver and aims it directly at Jack. Lucas's brother stands firm, his gaze cold and unwavering. Jack doesn't hesitate. He lunges forward with his revolver, shots shattering the night's silence, bullets kicking up sand next to Elijah. Realizing it won't be easy to deal with the cowboy, Jack tries to get closer, rushing forward with a knife. Elijah meets the attack, lunging forward and parrying the knife blow. Both men find themselves grappling on the desert ground. Kicks and punches are exchanged with sharp movements in a tight struggle. Jack tries to choke Elijah, wrapping a hand around his neck, but the cowboy jerks away and kicks his opponent hard in the stomach. The cowboy lands a powerful punch on his enemy's jaw. Blood splatters onto the sand. Jack, bloodied and angry, steps back and grabs his revolver. The fierce fight continues, each man ready to die for victory. Elijah quickly throws himself aside, dodging a shot, and answers with a precise shot to Jack's hand. Jack roars in pain but doesn't give up. He pulls out a knife and rushes into close combat, his revolver dropped in the sand. Elijah meets Jack with a fist and immediately tries to take the knife. A desperate fight to the death begins. Elijah stands over his wounded enemy, his revolver aimed at Jack's face. A decisive moment on which both their lives depend. Suddenly, a shout is heard from deep in the desert. A horseman with a weapon is rushing to help Jack. Elijah quickly retreats, hiding behind a rock, as the approaching enemies take firing positions, preparing for battle. The cowboy notices his allies have been drawn to the fight, following Jack's lackey. Without thinking, Jack screams with animalistic fury for everyone to shoot. In a final flash of bullets and smoke, the two forces collide. The air is filled with the roar of revolvers and screams. Jack makes a sharp lunge forward, but Elijah dodges and fires a distracting shot into the ground, causing his enemy to lose his balance. Seizing the moment, Elijah rushes forward, trying to knock the revolver from Jack's hand and end the fight. The clash becomes shorter and more intense. The revolver slips into the sand, and both men use their fists and their will to maintain the advantage. Finally, Elijah gains the upper hand, knocking Jack to the ground and holding him in a grip. Despite his defeat, Jack does not give up. His gaze is hot and full of determination, promising that their conflict is not over. Elijah breathes heavily, rises to his knees, and looks at the dawn, understanding that this battle is won, but the war is far from over.